Hello, I'm Sarah the Gallifreyan Ravenclaw. So this video was prompted rather weirdly by one of my own quizzes. So if you look at the comment section, you'll see that we had a whole conversation about whether the specials after Series 4 count as Series 4 or not. And I said, oh, well, IMDb don't count them as that. Then I actually looked at the IMDb Doctor Who page for the first time in a while, and realised there were a lot more episodes that it doesn't know where to put them than I realised. So I'd say I knew that the specials after Series 4 were in their unknown or question mark, depending whether you were on a computer or a phone, section. And I vaguely recalled the 50th having ended up in there because it didn't really know where to put it. So I wasn't too surprised to also find the 60th in there. But I'd forgotten it also had the Next Doctor in there. And I was surprised to find not only Legend of the Sea Devils and Power of the Doctor, but Eve of the Daleks and Revolution and Resolution. They are all in there, all three of the Dalek trilogy. So I ended up looking at how different pages map them. So I've got how IMDb does it, how Wikipedia does it, and how iPlayer does it. And we'll see the differences, and then you say which ones you think have done it correctly, because I think they've all got problems with how they've done it, to be fair. So I'll start with the 2009 specials, as they're the first ones that are different. The rest of them are fairly self-explanatory. So as I said, on IMDb, they're down in the unknown section. So I understand why it doesn't know where to put them. It doesn't know which series to count them as. But if you look at Wikipedia, I am probably putting pictures of all of these on the screen by now, the way, so hopefully you can see all these pictures. On Wikipedia, it counts The Next Doctor and Planet of the Dead, Waters of Mars and End of Time as the specials 2008 to 2010, which is always quite funny because they're kind of the 2009 specials plus one day into 2010. But this is actually counting a week earlier in 2008, which I wouldn't have necessarily included The Next Doctor. I'd have just gone, oh, that's the Series 4 Christmas special. So then you get to the next weird one, the 50th. Now, this is obviously, it was a different one. It wasn't really in the middle of any series. But what makes it almost more confusing is it's the episode in between the name of the Doctor and the time of the Doctor, which being 6 months apart, because one's the Christmas special, was fine. So without the 50th in the middle, you just go, oh, Time of the Doctor's just the Series 7 Christmas special at the end. But then you have this weird one in between. But what IMDb does is it actually usually puts Christmas specials as episode 0. It doesn't put them at the end, it puts them at the beginning. So it just has Time of the Doctor as Series 8, episode 0. Which is rather odd because you think Series 8, no, that's Capaldi. But on Wikipedia, they put them both down as the 2013 specials. So they're separate from Series 7 and 8. Now I've realised I forgot to say iPlayer on these. What iPlayer do is they don't have an extra category. So they aren't separating them like some of the others. They have to go in a series. So they actually count the 2009 specials as Series 4. Which they've done for every single one of these. So the 50th is down as in Series 7. So as you can see, if I've put screenshots on the screen, it's sort of all the other ones are like episode 12, episode 13, episode 40. And then it just has names for all these episodes. So they're not down as a number, but they are still down as that series. So then the next one that IMDb didn't know where to put was The Husbands of River Song, which when I first saw that on there, I was really confused why it was confused with it. When I looked into it, I realised why. So I said it puts Christmas specials as episode 0. So Series 10, episode 0, according to IMDb, is The Return of Dr. Mysterio. But Husbands of River Song was the Christmas special the previous year, and there was no series that year. Therefore, there was no series for it to be episode 0 of. So it could have either put them both at the beginning of Series 10, or it would have had to put one at the end of Series 9. But it doesn't do them at the end, so it didn't know where to put it. But Wikipedia But that's exactly what Wikipedia did. It put it as the end of Series 9 and the beginning of Series 10. So it puts Husbands of River Song as the end of Series 9, already having Last Christmas as the first one in Series 9. And it's actually the first time on the Wikipedia page that it has a Christmas special down as the end of the series. All the others before have been before it, and actually after this a majority are afterwards. But I said on iPlayer it puts them at the end of a series, so they are both down as the end of Series 9. But then you get onto the Dalek trilogy. Where do you put... Because IMDb seemed to decide to not even try with any of them, which I kind of understand why if you actually look at the broadcast dates. So if you look at the broadcast dates of the New Year specials, which were obviously on New Year, compared to the 3 series of the Jodie era, you can see why IMDb couldn't continue with the putting them as episode 0. Like, Resolution was broadcast about a month after Series 11. Revolution of the Daleks was almost a year after Series 12, but then also nearly a year before Series 13. So that's the one you probably could have argued could have gone down as Series 13, Episode 0, but it was also an entire year before. And then Wikipedia does class these as 2022 specials, which is what I tend to do. But iPlayer does put them at the end of Series 13, so according to iPlayer, Series 13 has an awful lot of episodes. According to iPlayer, Series 13 actually had 9 episodes, which is a lot more than it should be. We all know it was only a 6-part series, so the fact they actually included all the specials as Series 13 makes it look a lot longer. Now this next bit has actually changed since I did the research for this video 2 days ago. I'm not even joking. I looked this up on the 29th of February 2024. It is now the 2nd of March. I went to screenshot what I'd seen 2 days ago and it had changed. So I haven't got the screenshots to show what it looked like 2 days ago because it never occurred to me it would have changed and I needed to do the screenshots instantly. When I looked at IMDb 2 days ago, in the question mark was also The Star Beast, Wild Blue Yonder, The Giggle, and Church on Ruby Road. In those 2 days, there has become a new IMDb page called Doctor Who 2023 onwards. Exactly like iPlayer, they've now created a whole new category for it. And in that, it has, as I'm showing on the screen now, the 60th are in the question marks still, and Church on Ruby Road is now down as Series 1, Episode 0, which, fair enough, that is where it should go. But it already doesn't know what to do with 3 episodes before this category's even started. So, for the 60th, Wikipedia put the 3 60th specials down as one category, and then they have got the Church on Ruby Road as preceding Series 14, as it still calls it. I have screenshotted those so that I have comparisons if they do change. What actually surprised me is it's got the entirety of Series 14 written out with TBA as the name of almost every episode, apart from episode 2, The Devil's Cord, because Russell confirmed that, I think, in the Doctor Who magazine. It's then got the date of the first one as May 24, and the rest of them as just 2024. It's got a few writers, a few directors. But then actually you scroll down further, and it's got Series 15, and it starts with the Christmas special. It's got no name, but it's got the director, the writer, and the air date Christmas 2024, which I found quite interesting that they've already got those ready. Which reminded me of something from October. So I'll put the screenshots on the screen. Apologies they're that way. I took them on my phone, because in October I was looking at IMDb, and it came up at the top of the next episode, Festive Special 2023. And you notice it's got the generic picture of Capaldi. That's just if you haven't put a specific episode, a specific picture for an episode, it just uses the home picture, which for some reason is Capaldi. I assume it was changed to him while it was him as the Doctor, and nobody changed it since. So it says Festive Special 2023, which obviously this was before the name was even announced. But then you actually scroll down and it counted it as Series 14, Episode 4. with then having 5 and 6 as just saying 2024, because it had episode 3, The Giggle, with the picture of the poster. Episode 2, Wild Blue Yonder, for some reason doesn't have the right picture, but The Star Beast did, and they were down as Series 14, Episode 1. I can't seem to find a screenshot of me clicking on the Series 15, but if memory recalls, it was literally, it had like the one episode and it was just unnamed, had no information. But I found it quite interesting that it had changed actually multiple times in the last few months, because that's what it looked like in October before the name of the church on Ruby Road was announced. And then a few days ago, all of those episodes were in unknown, and it only went up to Series 13. And then today they've now been taken off that IMDb entirely and put on a separate one. So I suppose the entire purpose of me going through all these different pages and how they've done it, I didn't say for iPlayer, for the 60th and Star Beast, I said they have created a new page called Doctor Who 2023 onwards, and currently that has like no series sorting. So I don't know where the 60th is going to go once season 1 is on there, where it's going to put those episodes. I suspect it might make a sort of first category, possibly call it Series 0 or something. Because I have seen people complaining when they've seen Church on Ruby Road referred to as Special 4, because it really should be down as more Series 1, Episode 0. So I suppose the reason for this is, what would you say? Where would you count all these episodes? All these ones that IMDb doesn't know what to do with. Where would you put them? So if I've got you now looking up different pages and how they sort it, then I'd be interested. Obviously, once season 1 started, I'd be curious to know how they've sorted them on Disney+. I assume at the moment they're all just in the same category, but once season 1 starts, they'll probably be split up. So I'd like to know whether Church on Ruby Road remains with the 60th or gets put with season 1, and I'll let you know the same about iPlayer. So what do you count the 2009 specials as? Do you count them as the end of Series 4 or their own thing? Do you count The Next Doctor as the Christmas special from Series 4, or do you count it with the 2009 specials? Is Day of the Doctor part of Series 7, or is it its own thing? And so then does that change where Time of the Doctor goes? Because I said it was really the Series 7 Christmas special, but then there's another episode in between. Is Husbands of River Song the end of Series 9 and Return of Dr. Mysterio beginning of Series 10? Or are they both end of Series 9 or both beginning of Series 10? Where do you put the Dalek trilogy? Do you put them before each series, after each series? Does Eve of the Daleks go with Legend of the Sea Devils and Power of the Doctor? Does it count as the Christmas special from the end of Series 13? Is Church on Ruby Road in with the 60th specials or with Series 1? So there's all these questions of how would you sort it, because clearly these pages can't agree. By the fact that IMDb has a list of ones it doesn't know what to do with, says a lot. So I'm sure there's other lists on other pages. I didn't even go into like TARDIS Wikia and see how they sort it. So basically TARDIS Wikia agrees with Wikipedia. So if you want to look up any of the other ones, then feel free and see if there's any other ways they've sorted any of these episodes. But more the question is, which one do you think is right? I don't think anyone's going to fully agree with how any of them have done it. I think probably I most agree with Wikipedia, but I'd almost put Time of the Doctor in a different place. I'd almost say it is Series 7, but the 50th isn't. So I'd almost put them the other way around, but I'm not quite sure how you'd do that. So I'm curious on what you think, how you'd sort them, and which of these pages you most agree with, because it is rather complicated if you factor in all these specials. So I'm curious how you'd sort it. I think I'd almost put 2022 and 2023 specials together, but not including Church on Ruby Road, and probably not including Eve of the Daleks. I'm not sure why that's being counted as a special. I'd say that's just the Christmas special after Series 13. But let's see what you agree with. I will just point out that, as I said, on IMDb in the last few days it's changed. iPlayer had already set up a Doctor Who 2023 category, but Wikipedia still, it says 2005 to current. It has the classic and it has that. It has not created a new category. And as I said, it already has Series 15 ready to be filled in. So I'm slightly surprised that hasn't created a new one. I still don't know how new we should be calling this relaunch. Still haven't even got a name for it. But I find it interesting that the pages are slowly converting. I suspect more people will have by May. So I suspect by May Wikipedia may have joined the others with having a new category for Shooties Era, but we'll see. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this was actually prompted by one of my quizzes. So every 3 days I have a quiz question going out. And if you haven't figured out the system yet, they alternate between Doctor Who, Harry Potter and something else. And the Doctor Who and Harry Potter ones are going sequentially. So it's Series 1, followed by Philosopher's Stone, followed by Series 2, followed by Chamber of Secrets, etc. So in some of the questions I'm not actually specifying a series. I might say an episode name, or I might just ask a question about the book. So if you are slightly confused, figure out what series or book I'm referring to. It'll probably help. So I realised I haven't been quite that explicit, but that is the system. So you should be able to figure out what series I'm referring to if you can't figure out what the question's about. And obviously there's all the polls going out, and I'm trying a lot of new things this year. So there are some polls of sort of changes to the channel and what things you've preferred and other changes that you'd recommend me making. So do comment on those, because that will really help me figure out what people prefer. So lots of changes this year, but other than that, thank you for watching.